working at the behest of Zionism, that's still fascism. It doesn't change at all when it's Nick Fuentes doing it for what he describes as white people that features him as well. It's just fascism. It's still fascism. That's why I've always said, it's kind of funny when like a lot of these neo-Nazis talk about how much they hate Jews and how much they hate Israel. It almost feels like they're jealous. Like, how does Israel get to do Jewish exceptionalism, Jewish supremacist values? How would they get to masquerade as though they are, as though they can have a apartheid state for themselves? Something that another fucking idiotic fascist presented to Jonathan Greenblatt when they had. These guys are just jealous that Israel gets to have a genocidal apartheid state that masquerades as one working at the behest of Jews, right? A genocidal apartheid state for with ethno-religious supremacist values. Why can't they have that for Christians in America, for white Christians in America? That's the whole point for them. Okay, they're just mad. That's it. It comes from a place of envy. I'm morally consistent on this issue. The point I was making was not that Jonathan Greenblatt has never talked about Nick Fuentes. Of course he has. Of course he has. The point I was making is, since October 7, 2023, Jonathan Greenblatt has only talked about one prominent critic of Israel, and that wasn't Nick Fuentes. When he goes on national television, whenever there is another incident that took place that he's framing as yet another act of anti-Semitic violence, he brings my name up. He says Hassan Piker at Twitch is the one who is responsible for this. Do you understand? It's fucked up, man. Anyway. But now he's shaking hands with those guys. Like Elon Musk, shaking hands with Elon Musk to demand deplatforming. Richest man in the world is trying to cancel you. How's that feeling? It's just whatever. It's another fucking Monday. It is what it is. Let's
hollow.
Continue.
Such a hollow, empty, sad person. Hassan Piker saw Charlie Kirk, someone that he knew, get shot in the neck and his neck erupt with blood. We don't need to be graphic about the details, but everybody should look at that long and hard and let it sit with you. When Hassan saw that, his first reaction was to make a glib remark about gun control.
Yeah, he didn't think that my shock and distaste for what I saw was sufficient, and he was mad that I turned around and said the only way that this violence could have potentially been prevented, not a 100% guarantee ever, is if there were people in positions of power that took the initiative and took active steps to prevent gun violence from taking place in this country. Interesting that was not, that was completely unacceptable. You're not supposed to talk about that.
Seriously? That's a 31-year-old man. That's a young man with a wife and kids. He got shot in cold blood, publicly executed in front of thousands of college students. Never forget the trauma of his children, of his family. What about the people that witnessed this? What about everybody that will be affected by the knock-on violence that results from this? And you hollow, sick person, your response is to make some glib remark about gun control? Fuck you. Fuck you. And here's
Again, a Holocaust-denying neo-Nazi who actively stalked and got his audience of groypers to stalk Charlie Kirk wherever he went, a person who has likened miscegenation, race mixing, to bestiality, having sex with animals. That's who we're talking about. That is Nick Fuentes, okay? Over here, trying to engage in some sort of moral posturing. Engaging in the exact same fake fucking outrage. While also demanding that any sort of left organizing get censored, get deplatformed, and criminally prosecuted. After years and years of developing some kind of credibility in these corners of the internet, okay, by saying, I've been debanked, I've been deplatformed, now he's turning around and saying, I want that for the left. Perhaps this is part of the reason why he's doing it, though. The notion that Groypers didn't have beef with Charlie Kirk is just entirely ahistorical. The Groyper War was a campaign launched exclusively to harass him.
This guy is
Yeah, get out of here. Chanted right out. Decisive victory. We snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. They thought they had us. That's the best you have? A hidden television? A clip from November 2015? You think you can beat me? You can't beat the Groypers. We're not going anywhere, Charlie. So good, so good. What a keynote moment. Get out of here, coward! 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 This doesn't end. We'll see you on December 19th in Florida, bitch! Get the fuck off of campus! Grass! Grass! Oh, perfect.
All you have is like
Absolutely perfect. What a perfect end. What a perfect end. Oh, but I know I'm gonna change that tune when I'm back on top in June. What a victory, what a tremendous victory. This was the high note we needed to go out on. Perfect, couldn't have gone better if we scripted it. 4 weeks, 4 weeks of uninterrupted victory. Humiliation after humiliation. Charlie Kirk defeated. Last night, the big opportunity. We blow it. Come back in the afternoon. He tried to run for hours. The rain, the tech issues. And yet we prevailed. Chased him out. I'm so proud of every one of you. I love every one of you. I love the people that make up this movement. You guys are great, high energy, funny, smart. Look at these questions. Nobody else could do anything like this. It's a team. We're a team. It's not about me. It's a team. It's about America first. It's about the memes. It's about being funny, right? So good job to everybody. Thanks for everything. Congratulations. We killed it. We won this Groyper War, and we only have the cherry to put on top in the next month. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for the lemons. And
You thought leftist infighting was bad? Wait for fascist infighting? No, I'm completely aware of this, okay? Part of the reason why I never touched it is because let him fucking fight. In many circumstances, if I involve myself in these affairs, I become the primary target because they stop fighting amongst themselves and then they come after me instead. Now that the fight is over for Nick, because he's like cynically trying to take advantage of the situation to place himself on the throne after years and years and years of pursuing Charlie Kirk, okay? And also Ben Shapiro as well. Here's another one. Nick Fuentes, a Nazi Frankenstein monster created by the conservative alt-right, is now turning on his masters and vowing to destroy the GOP while harassing Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro, as Malcolm X would say, the chickens are coming home to roost. Right? That's from December 14th, 2020.
It's great to see you. Why did you give a 45-minute speech about me at Stanford, and you won't even look at my direction?
Hey, he's with his kids.
Come on, I'm right here. Only hey, let him cross, man. Let him cross. I know you're with your family, but I can't get to anywhere else. A 45-minute speech? Wow. Well, that's our free speech warrior, everybody. Champion of the battle of ideas. What's ideas, man?
Hey,
come on. It's his family, man. It's his family.
Once aren't you supposed to rise above instead of going down in the mud with
Because he
someone?
gave a 45-minute speech about me.
You're only repeating that because you're trying to make yourself sound important and you're not.
They've been smearing him for years. This is the only time we can get him is when he's crossing the street and he uses, I guess he's just like the Palestinians using human shields, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
But wait, there's more. Yeah. Since 2020, he's never stopped. This has been his agenda forever. Here is Squirrel also pointing this out. For those unclear about the difference between Nick Fuentes and Ben Shapiro, hates Muslims, hates LGBTQ, hates immigrants, hates women's far-right nationalism. Ben Shapiro is Jewish and also pro-Israel. The alt-right and Nick Fuentes specifically hates Jews and also hates Israel. There are some in the alt-right that hate Jews but love Israel as well, for the record. Okay? The far right contains multitudes. There are also plenty of people who are pro-Israel but also deeply anti-Semitic. I would say broadly the evangelical Christian movement is broadly anti-Semitic but also very, very pro-Israel. They think that Israel has to be given to the chosen sons and daughters of God so that the rapture can happen. They have their own theological justifications for it. Okay? And of course, Ben Shapiro, as I've routinely presented, is fine with anti-Semitic people as long as they're pro-Israel. Ann Coulter tweets regarding Jews, awful, nonsensical. Ann Coulter is also super pro-Israel and always has been. So no, I won't lose sleep. The Jewish people have always been plagued with bad Jews who undermine it from within America. Those bad Jews largely vote Democrat. Here's another rally. By the way, that first clip was from a while back, but Nick Fuentes and his Nazi gang continue to target Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk, most recently at the MAGA rally in D.C.
We want Nick! We want Nick! We want Nick! We want Nick! Let's go!
The funniest part about this, of course, is that the Republicans don't give a shit about any of this. They're not going to care. They're not going to, because they don't actually give a shit about Charlie Kirk either. They care about how they can use Charlie Kirk's assassination to their advantage to undermine political organizing in this country, political dissidents, maybe even prosecute and arrest them. Okay? That's it. So no, I don't think they give a shit about Nick Fuentes actively pursuing Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro and numerous other figures. The thing that they do care about Nick Fuentes, however, and I think that that is something that they won't be able to overlook, is his consistent anti-Israel advocacy, his consistent anti-Semitism. If he was pro-Israel, it wouldn't matter. But the fact that he's anti-Semitic and anti-Israel makes him a threat for the Republicans. So I still don't believe that the Trump administration will, if he remains anti-Israel openly, I don't think that the Trump administration will welcome him with open arms. But it kind of doesn't matter because he has been able to swing a lot of the audiences, even fucking liberals, even critics of Trump, into thinking that he is a tolerable figure.
And this kid, believe me, everybody's thrown him under the bus. Charlie Kirk? Yeah, bro. Ben Shapiro, the original Never Trumper? Yeah, we hate Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro does not believe in America first. Yeah, he started the Never Trump movement. Ben Shapiro is a subversive. We don't want subversives in our movement. The ADL and the SPLC have thrown Nick under the bus too. We hate the ADL. And a little like Nick. We want Nick. Million.
This was also the rally where Fuentes vowed to destroy the GOP. Except the reality of the matter is, this is why I'm presenting this. The reality of the matter is he's always flip-flopped with both supporting the GOP and then vowing to destroy the GOP. Okay? It's giving kick streamers at TwitchCon. I mean, kick streamers also very much firmly committed to Nick Fuentes anyway, so. My point is, he's an opportunist. He has stayed consistent on one issue, that is hating Jews and hating Israel, for sure. But he has gone back and forth on his support for Donald Trump, celebrating, taking credit for his victory. If you recall, one of his most viral moments that actually led to a lot of people like straight up coming to his house and shit was the "Your Body, My Choice." Are you trying to say the shooter was a groper? No, I'm not saying that. Although there are a lot of people who believe that. I am not a person that has entertained that. I don't know. My statement is, I don't know. Okay? It's too soon to tell. I don't think it's likely, but it doesn't matter. The reason why I'm talking about this is because Nick Fuentes kind of feels like the shooter might have been a groper. And I know that for a fact because he immediately started disavowing political violence, which he had totally been in favor of. He, started talking about how, he has thoughts and prayers for Charlie Kirk after spending his entire limited career trajectory shitting on Charlie Kirk, presenting himself as an honest broker, a real right-wing actor, saying Charlie Kirk was a leftist, that he was pro-Israel, he was pro-Jew, Charlie Kirk was Jewish. All this shit. So while I might not believe that the shooter was potentially a groyper, it kind of felt like he believed that.
MAGA March, we promised that if the GOP would not do everything in their power to keep Trump in office, then we would destroy the GOP. And as we gather here in Washington, D.C. for a second million MAGA March, we're done making promises. It has to happen now. We are going to destroy the GOP.
Let's go! Destroy the GOP! 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 Destroy the GOP!
The GOP wants us to hold the line and vote for rhinos like David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler in the Georgia Senate. And the
And there are a million other instances of this, which is, I think, part of the reason why he was talking about how he didn't consider my initial assessment sufficient, claiming that I wasn't sufficiently grieving. But here it is.
It's my message to Hassan Piker and every liberal cocksucker like him. You better disavow this violence. You better cry like Dean Withers. And I don't say that, maybe that comes off like I'm humiliating him. Who knows whether that was sincere or not? I hope to God that it was. And if it was, you know what?
Okay, I take offense to him calling me a liberal. I think that's a bit fucked up. You better cry. Look at this little booger-eating fucking manlet. This little man talking big game, talking big shit. You better cry. Well, I'm not. The fuck are you gonna do about it, bitch? The fuck is this shit?
Good on him. That's a good kid. And he said some nasty things about me. That's a kid with a conscience. He said, I don't think we should kill people for disagreeing. Is that divisive now? He had to apologize for weeping that someone he knew was murdered. That kid has a conscience. I have some faith in that generation. Here's my message to Hassan and all these smug, glib liberals like that. If you will not disavow this violence, we will have no choice but to consider you as no different than the killers. That's complicity.
No generation would claim Nick. There's plenty of evidence of Nick supporting political violence. Yes, he's a fucking neo-Nazi, of course. Once again, I'm more so frustrated with the fact that he's falsely presenting me as a liberal. I don't think that's appropriate, but older folks gonna eat that shit up? Yeah, he's just trying to farm the new wave of people who don't know his background at all. But it is funny because he is acting like he's gonna fucking call the principal on me. Like he's like, oh, you better cry real tears or else I'm gonna tell daddy, I'm gonna tell Trump to come after you and arrest you.
You could be forgiven up until this point for being irresponsible. We all get heated. We all do it. I'm guilty of it too. It makes hypocrites of all of us. We murder each other with our words all the time, with our gossip, our slander. We overreact. We say things we don't mean. We get angry. We harbor grudges and resentment, things that we should not. And that's not to excuse it. But the day that someone gets shot for the disagreement, if you can't bring yourself to show the slightest ounce of humanity to a moderate Republican who got killed for no reason, this is a moment we all recognize could set us down the path towards a civil war, could set us down the path towards unbelievable horror, suffering, bloodshed. If you can't bring yourself, even for the selfish sake of yourself or your own people or your own pathetic side, to show the slightest ounce of humility, of mercy, of magnanimity, benevolence, charity, then you are no better than the killer.
The funniest part about it is that you did disavow Kirk's assassination. You just don't feel really sympathetic about the situation, but obviously it was horrible, so I don't know, you didn't cry enough, I guess. No, I did. I did disavow it. and not only did I disavow it, but I also was traumatized by it for obvious reasons. But I don't think that Charlie Kirk is a moderate figure, nor one that was a good for the overall collective consciousness or for political discourse in this country. Having said that, however, of course, Nick has to present it in this way because he is trying to shift the attention away from his fans that might have been responsible for doing this. Because here's the thing. I did not like Charlie Kirk. I did not agree with Charlie Kirk. But clearly, at least by Charlie Kirk's own assessment, I was not a violent threat to Charlie Kirk in the way that Nick was. There is a reason why Charlie Kirk refused to debate Nick Fuentes. There's a reason why Charlie Kirk refused to mention Nick Fuentes. There's a reason why he didn't have an issue debating me, on the other hand. Both in the beginning of our careers, but also we were slated to debate next week. One must ask the question, why? Perhaps the many years of Nick Fuentes presenting himself as antagonistic towards Charlie Kirk and stalking him with his groypers is the reason why Charlie did not want to actually debate Nick Fuentes. Or maybe he didn't want to debate Nick Fuentes because he was worried that Nick Fuentes would eat away at his market share. It could be a million different reasons. But I see this as a transparent effort to, one, rehabilitate his image, to present himself as a more moderate figure, with the hopes that he will get hugged and kissed by establishment figures in the Republican Party who either don't know any better or are not fearful of his agenda. And last but not least, a desperate attempt to shift the attention away from people asking, what is a groyper? Actually, what does that even mean? Why did they hate Charlie Kirk? Why did they actually pursue Charlie Kirk physically in the real world? That's the reason why he's doing this. It's the same exact reason why I did not intervene in these affairs when I saw people attacking, when I saw his fans attacking Charlie Kirk and vice versa. Because I knew that if I were to present myself in the middle of that conversation, they would shift their attention away to a figure that they considered a larger enemy. You understand? If this man was an actual white nationalist neo-Nazi that believed in his convictions, he would be shifting his rhetoric out of fear of persecution. He's cosplaying. He has no real ideology. He's simply invested in the attention he gets in creating chaos and division for his own enjoyment. No, I think he's a real neo-Nazi, I think. I do. I believe he's a real neo-Nazi. Anyway, here is
Agreement.
Chuck Modi showing a Nick Fuentes talking about Charlie Kirk prior to the shooting versus, or after the shooting versus prior to the shooting. Let's take a look.
We had our disagreements. Where we did agree is that he would go to these college campuses and proclaim the name of Jesus Christ. And ultimately, that is why he was killed. The gunmen that killed him, they hated him because of his defense of Christian morality.
I'll go to Trump Live
Charlie
in a second.
Kirk cannot call himself a Christian anymore. Sorry, you forfeited that. I do not want to hear, and you cannot allow Charlie Kirk to go to one more public event, one more question and answer, one more ask me anything, without being protested, without being shouted down, without being interrogated about this. This guy goes around from campus to campus in the most artificial and phony and fake way, talking about, oh, God made me very blessed that I control $500 million. Oh, I'm so blessed. I'm so rich and I'm so blessed. And oh, God's been so good to me. I'm such a Christian. Oh, the Lord gave me the Sabbath. I take Saturday off. You sit there and call yourself a Christian and then you make excuses for the genocide of 2 million people? Seriously? You stand there and purport to be an evangelist like Billy Graham? Oh, you're the latest Billy Graham? You're our generation's America's pastor? Why? Because you said the right words? Because you said, God bless, God bless. God bless, my friend. Oh, I rebuke the devil in the name of Jesus. And then you go around from campus to campus making excuses for a famine?
Yeah. All right. Let's get to Donald Trump. He's making a presidential memorandum. Let's see what new fresh hell unfolds for us now in the United States of America.
First of all, thank you. Thank you.
Link the video, please. I tweeted it.
Your commitment for federal resources to the great city of Memphis. And it is a great city, and it has a great history.
It does.
And we are very hopeful and excited about the prospect of moving that city forward. I've been in office 7 years.
He's
I'm
sending the
tired of
National
crime
Guard to
holding
Memphis?
the great city of Memphis back. And I have spoken today with the director of the U.S. Marshals, with the director of the FBI, with General Bondi. We realize that this effort of multi-agencies that will combine the work of the Tennessee Highway Patrol and the local police departments, when we come together, we can make significant change in our city, in the city of Memphis, and that is a powerfully important thing for the state of Tennessee, and I want to say thank you.
This will be your proudest moment when we see you in 4 or 5 weeks, maybe sooner. You're going to see numbers that will drop and plummet like you haven't. Just like we did in D.C., they plummeted. Nobody could even believe it. And they're going to plummet. It'll be one of your really proud moments, and you've done a good job, too. But this will be maybe your proudest moment.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
And the director, as the director said, the goal is sustained.
Right. Got to keep it.
Sustained crime lowering, and that with this effort, I believe we can get there. We can finally get there for that city.
Yep, we're going to have it sustained long time, and your people are going to get better and better, and your police force has been terrific. They're working with us very much, as you know. Started it, as I said, on a little basis, and we got it down quite a bit, but now we go in for the big march, okay?
And Director Patel and his team have done remarkable work so far. As you know, the numbers are great, and this will be one more step in the right direction for Memphis.
That's true.
Thank you.
He's done a very good job. Thank you very much. Pam, please.
President Trump, at your directive, we went in, as you all know, to D.C. and took over the city of D.C., working hand in hand with Metro Transit Authority. All of the agencies represented here today got over 2,000 violent offenders, got over 200 guns off the streets of D.C., and D.C. is safe again. And now, Governor, working with you and working with our 2 U.S. senators and all of our agencies working hand in hand, we're going to do everything we can to make Memphis safe again. That was President Trump's directive to us, and it's easy to do when you're working with such great leaders. And Secretary Noem, you have been instrumental in this, and Director Patel has already been into Memphis and gotten so many violent offenders and guns off the street, and that's what started it. And working, Stephen and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, thank you. We've all been going nonstop, working hand in hand together, and Gowdy Serralta, Terry Cole, and Director Driscoll of ATF wearing 2 hats, and Pete Hegseth with the National Guard, all working hand in hand and being out there for a month. You can't tell who's with what agency, but for the
Chad,
T-shirt
this is why
they're
I
wearing.
said the argument about like, oh, well, why doesn't he actually send it to, why doesn't he send the National Guard to red states where there's a lot of crime was stupid. Okay? Because here is a red state where there's a lot of crime. And it's, once again, another black city. Okay?
I'm so excited that you're going in there to work with not just the governor and willing local leaders, but also our attorney general and all the leaders that are standing here today to help protect our children. So what's going to change dramatically is the families' lives that live there, and it's only going to happen because of you, because you're coming in. What has started there, you're going to put on steroids. The networks that you're going to uncover across this country, because of the work that's going to happen in Memphis, we're going to see every city get safer, because we're going to see those ties to other criminals that we're going to get out of the country. So we're a nation of laws. And sir, thank you for caring about every single city.
Thank you, Christy. Really nice. And what makes it to me so exciting is the success we had here so quickly. And, you know, we've taken close to 1,500 people out of D.C. But when I saw the result happen so quickly, and so many people are so thankful, and people that you pass them every day and they're fine, all of a sudden they're thanking me so profusely. It was so exciting what's happened, and continues to be what happened in D.C., and so that's what makes this, I think, even more exciting, because we know what's going to happen. We know we have the people. Look, we're sending in a lot of help. These cities have been taken over for years, and the last 4 years under Biden, what's happened is just a disgrace. So it really has, what the success we've had here has made it to me much more exciting, because I think we're going to have proportionally. I mean, you have cases where it's even worse. I have some people, we have some people quoted today that we took out of papers. We're so grateful for the National Guard coming, said an owner of a Memphis tax service. It's so dangerous here. It's so darn dangerous that you can't get out of your car. If you get out of your car, he says you get robbed, you get mugged, you get hit. You can't go to the market or a service station. So, yeah, I want to see crime stop, and I want to see the National Guard come in right away if that's what's necessary. There's a need. Here's another one from a director of a Memphis-based crime prevention organization. There's a need for more boots on the ground. You have to get them done fast before we totally lose it. They're going to lose it all. I got 2 guns put in my face, said another, within 5 minutes at 2 different locations. He said, I got a gun put in my face. Then I went someplace else, had another gun put in my face. I was scared. It never happened to me. I've never seen anything like it. Here's another one. I honestly thought he was going to kill me, said a 60-year-old Memphis carjacking victim. A man walked up, give me your car, you got 5 seconds to get out or you're dead. This is what we have in this page after page of the same kind of thing. Cash, would you say a few words, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thanks to your brilliant foresight, you had asked us to go in quietly into these cities to help set the landscape, to work with the interagency, and to make America safe again. And we've done that under the FBI's banner program of Operation Summer Heat. And right. The results are only as good as the prosecutions. And because the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General have mobilized DOJ to successfully prosecute so many violent criminals, we have set the landscape for the interagency to come into Memphis and really make it safe permanently. As the governor and the senators and the other directors were saying, it's not a short-term mission, but thanks to you launching us early, launching us quietly, not looking for the credit, Mr. President, we greatly appreciate your support and the advanced foresight you had doing that.
It's so exciting, and somebody had to do this. A president should have stepped up long ago and saved these cities. So it's not that I wanted to do it, believe me. Somebody had to do it, and we're doing it in a big way. Excellent. Pete, could you say a few words, please?
Yes, Mr. President. From day one, the DOW, the Department of War.
I'm glad you made that correct.
Has been proud to stand with our partners across the interagency, whether it's southwest border, whether it was Los Angeles getting ahead of that, whether it's right here in Washington, D.C., where Secretary Driscoll and the Army and the National Guard have taken the lead in helping across all of these great folks to secure the city. We are very proud to be here, to stand strong alongside law enforcement. We're glad that Memphis is the place to go. The volunteer state, we're not going to have any problems with the Tennessee National Guard being willing to go in and stand strong in Memphis.
Not at all. And get ready, because you'll be doing a lot of other places that are almost as troubled.
You got it.
Some of them are equal. You look at what's going on in Baltimore, where the governor is telling me how wonderful it is, and you can't walk across the street without being shot. Could I ask our 2 great senators to say a few words?
Of course.
Please,
Mr.
Marcia.
President, thank you so much. I want to say a thank you to Director Patel, because he had promised that he would come into Memphis. We've had Operation Viper there this summer. There have been over 500 arrests. There are over 100 indictments. And Memphis had the best stats they have had in years this past August. Last month, it was the best August they have had. And it's because of the work that's been done. And now to have a new phase of this enforcement for Memphis, where we are going to have all of these agencies working as a team, as the governor said, making certain that this is a long-term effort to make Memphis safe again. Mr. President, we are so grateful and we thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. President. And this is an issue that's plagued Memphis since I was a boy, Mr. President. And it's time that we addressed it. And I appreciate your leadership allowing us to do that. And the team that you've assembled here is going to help us deliver the most fundamental responsibility of our government, and that's public safety. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. This should be something that is our primary goal. And certainly I hope to see Memphis become the safest city in America. And thanks for the effort of all of your team here to make certain that happens. Thank you, Governor Lee, and I want to say thanks.
Please
to
tell these hogs in the chat that this is not needed is actually a detriment to safety. I have a million times over. What difference does it fucking make? Nobody listens. This is not a long-term commitment to safety at all. The presence of military on American streets is not only unconstitutional, but is not even a bandage. It is not even a band-aid to a fucking gaping wound. We know that crime is a byproduct of material conditions. We know crime is born out of poverty. Okay? If you want to tackle crime consistently, if you want to make sure that you erase crime to the best of your ability. Now, there's always still going to be, antisocial personality disorders, crimes such as that. People who are just outright what you would consider to be like evil people and whatnot. But ultimately, most of the crime that we look at, that we see as the most visible aspects of crime, is often either directly just a visible form of poverty, whether it be homeless people on the streets, or the locking of like deodorant at fucking CVS and whatnot. And the only long-term solution to that is to improve people's material conditions, to make sure that they're not living in abject poverty. If a militant response was an active deterrent to crime, which is a dangerous prospect to begin with, because the logical conclusion of that is the military engaging in these campaigns on U.S. soil, okay? But if a militant response in general was a solution to crime, was a permanent solution to crime, then we obviously would not have any fucking violence whatsoever in this country. We have some of the most militant police around the world. They have gear that standing armies don't have in other countries. The NYPD has a fucking, not one, multiple submarines. Okay? It's ridiculous. It would have worked by now. They have tanks. Local law enforcement, local police departments have tanks. Okay? Like surplus military grade gear that they have purchased from the American government. So obviously, that constant presence of law enforcement should be working. But for some weird reason, it's not.
President Trump put together a team that saw the largest ever violent crime reduction in any city in American history. Something that people had not been able to do in 40 years. That is a momentous achievement. And now the president is going to take that same model to Memphis, and as he said, more cities after that. The team the president has put together has no equal today or anywhere in American history. I think what's happening here is that what the president has done is made clear. The power of federal law enforcement that was used for the last 4 years to harass and attack conservatives, to harass and attack Christians, to go after law-abiding families. The power of law enforcement under President Trump is going to be used to get all the criminals, all the violent offenders, all the murderers, all the cartels, and all the domestic terrorists off our streets. So whether you're Antifa, whether you're a domestic terrorist, whether you are a violent gang member, a drug trafficker, a trained Iroquois killer or anyone else is threatening our people, President Trump is saying he's going to use his FBI, his DOD, his ATF, his DEA to wipe you out, to put you behind bars, to take you off the street, or to apply whatever legal consequences necessary. Mr. President, I'm honored beyond words to be a part of this team under your leadership as you've saved thousands of lives.
Thank you very much. Come on over. Let's sign that bill. You want to say anything about our great military real fast? He's won a job. He's doing this guy.
Mr. President, so our Army National Guard is honored to be part of this mission. This is their community. A lot of them are from D.C. They're from Tennessee. When you talk to them, when you talk to the actual population out there who interact with them every day, they say it's a blessing to have them as a part of their life. And then for the National Guard getting to have this where they get to improve their communities, where their kids are growing up and they're going to church, and this is where their families are. Many of them, sir, have said this is the honor of their lifetime, so thank you.
Look at that nice face, and yet he's a killer. That nice, beautiful face, and he's a total killer. I don't know how you do it. Huh?
Lotion, sir.
Everybody here. All right, here we go.
How wonderful.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Yes, the FBI claims that they had a note, but then they fucking lost the note or something. I'm going to talk about that in a second with the Charlie Kirk shooter.
Yeah, but
First of all, you've got to.
did they take down the blue tent?
Yes, sir, they did. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Hit me with a blue
He's
tent.
signing a proclamation, a presidential memorandum to send the National Guard to Memphis,
The
Tennessee.
next day, and they had a lot of. That was not so easy. They had, that's a violent, radical left group. Okay, go ahead.
I've heard a lot of comments for doing that. They still have their First Amendment right, though. They're still
Yeah, well, I'm not.
You've got an amazing team behind you. You've done an awesome job for D.C. I want to get ahead of a story that I think might come out. You pushed out an email earlier today really showing dozens and dozens of local media in Memphis highlighting all of the violent crime in that city. So they have no problem reporting the crime, but when you show up to solve it, they're going to run around town looking for that one person that says, we don't want Donald Trump in our city. What can you say to the media there in Memphis, Tennessee, to help let them know the people want you there in their city?
Well, I'm not sure they found that person, because I saw them doing some interviews, and it looked like they were looking, but they were in fact, that producer, that person, I think they lost their jobs, because everybody was saying, we want Trump to be there, they want the people right here to be there. Look, it's very simple. In Chicago, they're getting beat to hell. They're being shot. If you lose 6 or 7 people die over a weekend, they consider that a successful weekend. And when you consider that a successful weekend, that's pretty bad. I had the president of Poland here a few days ago, and we had a news conference. Many of you were here. And I made this statement. I said, we're very happy to announce that it's been over 2 weeks since anybody's been killed in D.C., and he looked at me like, is that supposed to be good? He's looking like, what kind of a place is this? And now it's been a long time, but, and as I was saying it, I said, I'm not sure if that sounds good to somebody. It sounded great to you, but it doesn't sound good to somebody from a country where they don't have violent crime like we have. But now it's a long time since that's happened. We went for years where at least one person was killed. Now, you're not seeing it all. It's like the border. Millions of people, a year ago, millions of people poured into our country. In the last 3 months, there have been 0, as reported by largely Democrats, actually. The border is secure. The country is secure. We've got the hottest country anywhere in the world. And I'll tell you, a year ago, we were a country in tremendous trouble, probably a dead country if it continued. So we're very happy about it. And so just, in terms of your question, people have never seen anything like what we're doing, and I think they're very happy, and they want us to be there. They don't want to be mugged. Who would say, gee, I don't want the National Guard? And you need that in terms of numbers. And also, you look at those guys, I looked at them, they're rough guys. They're, the Supreme Court voted recently on merit. We're a merit-based country again. I said they had tremendous courage to do that. We're a merit-based country again. When I looked at the people that were patrolling the streets for the National Guard and for for others, I could see were merit-based. They were rough-looking, they were tough-looking, and they love our country. So that's where we are, Brian. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, please.
Yes. Given with all the that's going on with Charlie Kirk's assassination and the left wing, a lot of left wing violence going on, do you have plans? And actually, this is a great opportunity with all these people here. Do you plan on designating Antifa finally a domestic terror organization?
Well, it's something I would do, yeah. If I have support from the people back here, I think we'd start with Pam, I think. But I would, if you give me, I would do that 100%. And others also, by the way. But Antifa is terrible.
Are there other groups that you can think of?
There are other groups, yeah. There are other groups. We have some pretty radical groups, and they got away with murder. And also, I've been speaking to the Attorney General about bringing RICO against some of the people that you've been reading about that have been putting up millions and millions of dollars for agitation. These aren't protests. These are crimes, what they're doing, where they're throwing bricks at cars of ICE and Border Patrol. And they come in with a beautiful new car. They're so proud. It's Border Patrol, ICE, it's got whatever it is. And they're throwing rocks at it. And after 50 yards, it looks like an old beat-up vehicle. It was just brand new. It was just bought for the purposes, and they don't have to take that anymore. I let it be known. We'll take responsibility. They don't have to take it anymore, and they don't want to take it. They were told by a past administration. It became almost
apparently J.D. Vance referenced Soros and Ford Foundation twice in his speech.
You do whatever the hell you want. I watched it so sick it made me. For 4 years, I had to sit home and watch people screaming at policemen and spitting in their face.
DSA and PSL are too small fry for them to even care about. They want to tackle like big organizations. I think they're like going after liberal groups as well. They're not just going after the left. They're not like going after leftist groups. Okay, they're going after. Glenn says they still have their First Amendment right, though. They're still out there protesting. Well, I'm not so sure. Yeah, it's very obvious that this administration does not give a fuck. I mean, everything that I told you was going to happen is literally happening. I told you that it wasn't going to stay with like undocumented or even documented non-citizens. I told you it was always going to extend to all political dissidents. And if you think it stops there, you are delusional. Eventually, this administration will decide that you're next. That's how it works. That's how fascism works. And I've been trying to actively get people on board. I'm trying to explain to people that it's not, the goal here is not just to clean up the most radical elements of the political left. Like, that's not the goal. That's never been the goal. The goal is to silence dissent. And not just silence dissent, but demand admiration from everyone, okay? You can see that with the way that they're operating right now with the Charlie Kirk stuff. Are there people who have said like crazy shit? Certainly, okay? But it doesn't stop there. They're not just going after people who have said crazy shit, which, again, you could just let it go regardless, right? And the administration shouldn't be touching that in any case, because that's still, once again, a violation of the First Amendment. But they're now moving away from that. They're moving away from just like yelling about people or demanding that they get fired. They want the administration to prosecute people who have not sufficiently demonstrated grief about Charlie Kirk. What do you think that means? It's fucking insane.
And New Orleans, we want to get to, too.
Your FBI is investigating the potential role of left-wing organizations in the assassination. I'm wondering if you think if Charlie Kirk...
At what point is it full fascism? We're 2 steps away from full fascism. Full fascism is due process is over and free speech is completely over. Once they tackle that, or rather redirect the courts to follow their vision, follow their agenda, you've crossed the last Rubicon. You've crossed the finish line, basically. The comparison I would use is like the Nuremberg race laws, because at first they want to tackle the remaining institutions that are supposed to offer some kind of counterbalance to growing accelerated fascism. But then after they've sufficiently dismantled these institutions, they will rebuild it in their own vision. Okay? That's how it works.
That was taken out, and do you plan to provide proof that these were narco-terrorists who were on their way to the U.S.?
Well, we have proof. All you have to do is look at the cargo that was like it's spattered all over the ocean. Big bags of cocaine and fentanyl all over the place. And it was, plus we have recorded evidence that they were leaving. We've recorded them. It was very careful because we know you people would be after us. We're very careful. The military has been amazing. And General Kane showed me a little while ago the clip, but you could actually see it. But you don't have to see it because we have recorded proof and evidence. We know what time they were leaving, when they were leaving, what they had, and all of the other things that you'd like to have. But we have noticed that there are no ships in the ocean anymore. We're seeing that there's like no ships, no, you know, when the first one we went, there were hundreds of boats. Now there are no boats. I wonder why. Meaning no drugs are coming across. Probably stopping some fishermen too. I mean, to be honest, if I were a fisherman, I wouldn't want to go fishing here. Just a nice, let's take a little trip because...
Anti-Israel sentiment got to a degree that was terrifying. He moved on to bigger and better things. Okay? He's been too busy coming after me since October 7. This is part of what I explained. This is part of what I was talking about. I said these fucking dumbass liberal institutions that present themselves as civil rights organizations that spend every fucking waking moment trying to go after people who are anti-Zionist but not anti-Semitic are doing a disservice. This is the environment you created. I hope you fucking enjoy it. There were two routes in the United States of America where people would exhibit anti-Israel behavior. Either they would be anti-Zionists who are not anti-Jewish, or they would become anti-Semitic anti-Zionists. And if all of the right was constantly shitting on the left, and the liberal institutions of prominence were also shitting on anti-Zionists who were not anti-Semitic, the voices that would be elevated in that process in mainstream discourse would be the anti-Semitic anti-Israel people. And now you're there. You did this. When you Google Nick's name, the second result is the ADL hit piece. What are you even saying? First of all, Nick Fuentes is anti-Semitic. Make no mistake. I mean, fuck the ADL. They are Nazis as well. Okay? But so is Nick Fuentes. My hatred and my anger and my resentment towards Nick Fuentes is because of the same resentment that I have for fascism when Israel is doing it. It doesn't matter. When Israel does fascism, when Israel engages in ethno-religious supremacist ideals, when Israel is